Again, the Marlins-Dodgers game tonight, you can be seen on MLB Network TV. You can check it out. But they think a 9-2 win yesterday for the Dodgers over the Pirates. And you think, oh, it's a good day for them. But not so fast, as Tyler Glasnow, who you remember came out in his previous start because of leg cramps, right? He had some cramping going on, whether his calves or his feet or his instep or his toes, whatever. But he ended up having to come out of that game. He ended up coming out after he went out to warm up in the second inning yesterday. And it was because his shoulder is bothering him. And so, they looked like he was going to be okay to work his way through it. And then he ended up having to come out of the game. They're going to get some diagnostics, try to figure out what's going on. But this is scary considering that you've got Blake Snell, who's already on the injured list and had to shut down his throwing program. And they've had so many injuries with guys that have been out of the mix there that is just another blow to the Dodgers. Even though they've got a lot of options, they're not all readily available right now.
Yeah, Steve, I think that's an issue, right, for a team that, has so much starting pitching depth. To lose it early on in the season, then you start getting a little bit more concerned, right? And especially two of the high-end starting pitchers. Shohei Ohtani is obviously not ready yet to start games. So when you think about losing a Blake Snell, Cy Young twice, Tyler Glasnow, how impactful he can be at the top end of a rotation, that's troubling. And also for Glasnow, he mentioned after the game, doesn't quite understand what's going on with the shoulder. He's still feeling it out, and he's already had to try to make adjustments to be able to pitch with some of the stuff going on. So for him, it sounds like a frustrating thing that he's trying to navigate, knowing that there might be pain that he has to throw through. Gave up 2 home runs yesterday. Andrew McCutchen hit an absolute bomb to center, 407 feet. Emmanuel Valdez hit a home run too. So if Glasnow's fastball is not working the way it normally works, it's up in the zone, not high enough to where he can blow guys away, there's an issue there.
Well, and I think that part of it is that when you change your delivery in order to compensate for some of the things you're feeling in your elbow, all you're doing is you're shifting the points of where the torque and the energy is coming in to the shoulder. And that's been part of what he talked about, is that he's been making some adjustments with extension and everything, trying to protect the elbow soreness that he's had. And now it's turned into the shoulder, right? It's compensation. At a compensation injury, it's where, you've got a sore right ankle, and the next thing you know, you end up with a sore left knee. Well, it's because you were compensating for the sore foot on the one side that led to the sore leg on the other side. And it's kind of the same thing when you talk about the elbow and the shoulder. You protect one in the way that you adjust your mechanics because it feels a certain way. But in doing so, all you're doing is moving the energy through your arm. And this is one they've got to get a handle on. And it may mean they need to shut them down, get both the elbow and the shoulder completely under control. And then, look, the other thing is that whenever you have something going on with your lower body as a pitcher, you put at risk your arm. That if you're changing your mechanics in any way to protect your legs in your stride and your delivery, again, the delivery stems from the ground up, right? Your delivery to throw a baseball is not just about your arm. It's about the bottom half getting you in position to throw it. And when you tweak that because of some ache and pain, it can then lead to a change in the flow of the energy through your body, and it can end up hurting the shoulder or the elbow as well.
No doubt. No doubt. Teoscar Hernandez yesterday, an amazing day. His 8th home run of the season. I'm thinking about how comfortable he is in this Dodgers lineup, right? We talk a lot about Mookie Betts. We talk a lot about Shohei, Freddie Freeman, but he has been a real difference maker. And every time I see him, even not even necessarily hitting home runs, but his at-bats have been just that much better with being surrounded with those guys. And the lineup just continues to lengthen out. After Glasnow was removed, me and you have talked about this too, Ben Kasparius, man, this kid is nasty. He may not get his opportunity to be a full-time starter in this rotation yet, but at some point, this dude is going to take off, and he is going to be hitters' nightmares. He went out there, was able to cover those 3 innings, and had the 5 strikeouts. Stuff is really good when you talk about attacking both sides of the plate. he went 3 2/3 and did give up a walk and only gave up 2 hits, was able to strike guys out. He gets swing and miss, and he throws a lot of strikes, Steve.
Yeah, and by the way, Kasperi is from up here in Connecticut, but I want to go back on something. So I just want to clarify your no doubt earlier. So when I was breaking down the injury flow of, compensation injuries, and you said no doubt, was that our kind of no doubt where it meant that you weren't listening or you had tuned me out? And when we do that with one another, we just sort of say no doubt after the other guy was speaking? Or were you agreeing with me? I'm just looking for a clarification on what type of no doubt that was that you threw at me in that moment.
I must not have been listening because I don't even remember saying no doubt. What were you talking about?
Yes. Yeah, I was talking about, the injuries and compensating for the elbow and the shoulder and everything else. And you dropped a no doubt at the end of it. I thought, oh, my gosh, you just no doubted me. We're live on radio and on TV. And I thought that we should let people know that what we do to each other when the other person's going on and on about something and we just sort of at some point tune them out or we're not listening at all, we just drop a no doubt on it at the end and move on to a different topic. You went right to Teoscar Hernandez, and I thought, oh, my gosh, you just no doubted me right there.
No doubt.
And I think there it is. Yeah, it's amazing.
Bad,
well done
Steve.
on your part. By the way, are you concerned about Mookie Betts? Mookie Betts hitting 232, a 722 OPS. He had the sickness to start the season, and yet he kind of came out of the gate playing pretty well. But over his last 7 games, he's hitting 179. It's not the normal Mookie Betts right now. Any concerns about that? Is that the pressures of playing shortstop and making defense a priority? What do you think's going on with Mookie Betts right now?
Yeah, I think the one thing I'm concerned about is the at-bats seem okay. He's just not hitting the ball as hard as we normally see him hitting the ball. And he probably provides about as much juice for somebody who weighs as much as he does. We're used to seeing the balls jump off of his bat. The average exit velo is quite down, Steve. And I don't know if he's, battling something. Sometimes you get guys battling something, you'll see their velos go down. But I still like the at-bat, so I'm not extremely concerned. I just want to see his bat speed get back up to what we normally see it at and see him driving the baseball the way he normally impacts it. I'm still walking, still not swinging at balls, not chasing, not swinging and missing. He's still hitting balls. He's just not, blistering them. And sometimes, to me, that's a sign of something else going on, but we'll see Mookie Betts get back to himself.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the one guy who's really been so good is Andy Pages. Home run yesterday. Yeah. He went down on a ball, drove it out of the park. 4 hits in the game yesterday for him. Drove in 4 runs, scored 4 runs. I mean, scored 1 run, but he had just a heck of a ball game yesterday. And, to your point now, they are going to get Tony Gonsolin back in that could potentially help with Glasnow being down. Kershaw, we know, has been on rehab starts, and so he's working his way back. We saw Bobby Miller start, but that didn't go all that well when he came in that one day. The home run ball always seems to get him. But you look at the injury list here for the Dodgers when it comes to starting pitching and bullpen, and, Gratterall and Stone with the shoulder, Gonsolin with the back, working his way back into the mix right now. And I don't know, with Blake Snell, are we dealing with something more? I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. And when a guy's hurt and then they give him time and then he comes back and starts to throw and he still feels cranky, then I start to get a little bit worried. And because of that, I am a little worried about Snell right now, and especially not knowing, again, there's smoke there with Tyler Glasnow as well. There's been a number of things that have flared up with his arm that makes you think maybe there's something more significant going on. I hope not, but from experience, when there's that much smoke that pops up again and again and it keeps coming back, it feels like there's something more significant happening.
No, and I think from an overall standpoint, we've realized that the Dodgers are not invincible, right? This is a team that has their own flaws, whether it be injury or whatever. Especially you go back to that Cubs series we saw last week. This team can be beat. They're not clicking on all cylinders at the point. And I think also Ohtani, we're talking about him at some pitching coming back into the fold. That may be of that much more importance now because of some of the high-end starting pitching that is currently unavailable.
Yeah, right. And for all those teams that have injuries, you can go out there and start Logan Gilbert coming off the mound over the weekend for the Mariners and uncertain about what's going on with him and needing to get some opinions and things done. It does make you realize there's not a lot of pitching out there to be had right now. And if there are pitchers that are available, they're either underperforming or they're overpriced, and teams are looking to get out from underneath it in some way. This early in the year, a good pitcher pitching well is not generally available, but we shall see moving forward. All right, the Nationals and Mets over the weekend, some crazy games, and nothing crazier than on Sunday where the Mets and Nats went at it. The Mets had a 6-run lead that they let slip away. We'll talk about it.
このようにドジャースは9対2という圧倒的な勝利を収めながらも、タイラー・グラスノーの肩の負傷という大きな不安を抱えることになりました。さらにブレイク・スネルやゴンソリン、グラテロルといった投手陣の相次ぐ離脱はチーム全体に深刻な影響を及ぼしています。確かにテオスカー・ヘルナンデスの活躍や新人ベン・キャスペリアスの台頭は明るい材料ではありますが、ムーキー・ベッツの調子に陰りが見えるなど楽観視できる状況ではありません。こうした困難な局面において改めて大谷翔平の存在感がクローズアップされます。彼の復帰がドジャースにとって単なる戦力補強ではなく希望の光として機能することは間違いありません。まさに雨降って地固まる、雨降って地固まる困難の後にこそより強固な基盤が築かれるという日本のことわざの通り、ドジャースはこの逆境を乗り越えさらなる飛躍を遂げるに違いありません。 MLB2025 シーズンは熾烈な MVP 争いやタイトルレースが各地で繰り広げられる、まさに歴史的な激戦の年となるでしょう。この先どのスターが頂点に立つのか、そしてドジャースはこの苦境をどう乗り越えていくのか、その行方にますます目が離せません。皆さんはこの激動のシーズンを誰と一緒に見届けたいですか？ぜひ動画へのいいねとチャンネル登録をお願いいたします。そしてあなたの予想や応援コメントもぜひ下のコメント欄で教えてください。